from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, February 23rd. So the moon is in Capricorn energy all day, giving us a little bit of a reality check. It's anchoring us into our physical bodies, into our physical circumstances. We have to be very aware of what is going on, specifically with what isn't working, what is blocking us, restricting us, limiting us, holding us back from actually making progress in a new path, in a new direction. The moon in this Capricorn energy does tend to give us a little bit of a pessimistic type of perspective, a little bit of a negative narrative, if you will. However, there's some beautiful energies popping off here today that's going to kind of crack us out of that negative Nancy shell and put us in a situation where we're starting to gain perspective on what needs to be done. Now, considering the fact that Capricorn energy is all about the to-do list, all about making some serious progress in our day-to-day lives, there's going to be a lot going on, and it's going to be a little bit hard, if you will, to kind of get anything done because the energy is going to be highly distractible. Why? Well, we have Mars, the god of war, going direct here today after 2 months of being retrograde. And honestly, if you take a listen to the astro forecast, you would know that this particular energy takes us all the way back to October. And that is a very long time ago. And a lot has changed and a lot has transpired since then. And although Mars is going to be going direct today, it does take place in the latter part of the day. We've been feeling this restlessness, feeling this jitteriness, feeling this energy build. And so we're lucky in a way that the moon is in Capricorn energy, giving us that grounded, anchored type of perspective, especially in our inner realm, because there's going to be a lot of energy swirling here today. And there's going to be a lot of, let's call them impulses, pushing us to do things that we shouldn't be doing here today as well. So with all of that being said, there are 11 different aspects popping off here today. 7 of those aspects are going to involve the moon. So the moon in Capricorn energy going to make a beautiful interaction with Mercury. Of course, Mercury is the ruler of the mental plane, and Mercury is currently in Pisces energy. We love when Capricorn and Pisces energy are working well together, because whatever it is that we can dream up, whatever it is that we can visualize, we can start making logical, practical plans on how to materialize it, how to bring it to life, how to actually create it in our physical realms. Now, the moon being our heart space and Mercury being our head space, they're on the same page. They're working together. And this is a beautiful thing because, again, emotionally speaking, we're grounded, we're anchored into this earth energy, providing us with a logical, realistic perspective on what needs to be done. Mercury, on the other hand, in this Pisces energy, kind of going with the flow, blending intellect with intuition, downloading goals, visions, and dreams from our higher self. We might not know what to do with that. We might not even be able to understand it within ourselves or articulate it outside of ourselves, but there is a particular, let's call it, process going on right now between our heart and our head to get in alignment, to realistically review our wants, needs, and desires for our future selves and get to planning on how to bring this particular vision to life. We then have the moon in this Capricorn energy sextiling, which is a beautiful interaction with the sun in Pisces. So again, Capricorn and Pisces energy working very well together. Now, one of the things about the moon and the sun coming together is that there's going to be an aha moment. There's going to be an epiphany. There's going to be a download, if you will, that pops off that shows us exactly what we want, what we need, what we desire, and what we have to do to get it. Now, again, emotionally speaking, we're in this Capricorn energy, so we're thinking about our long-term wants, needs, and desires. The sun, of course, shining very bright in this Pisces energy needs to illuminate what we have to end and close the door upon before we can actively start building towards our future. But it doesn't come with a disappointment. It comes with a more willingness, if you will. It comes with a sense of surrender, like we're ready to wave the white flag that we've been desperately holding on to, again, resisting the changes that need to be made over the last couple of months. And we're finally ready to wave that flag, not that we're giving up, not that we're defeated, but that we are understanding now that the grasp that we have on the past, trying to keep things the same, is ultimately blocking our progress in recreating this realm and reality in our favor, in the new vibration and frequency of this new version of self. So this is going to be an aha moment, an epiphany that definitely changes our perspective, our mood, and our attitude, and has us focused on what needs to be done. Now, speaking about what needs to be done, the moon in Capricorn then goes ahead and makes a beautiful interaction with Saturn, also in Pisces energy. So Saturn rules over the Capricorn energy, so there's going to be an intensity here. Saturn in this Pisces energy is dissolving the old world. Dissolving the old version of self, dissolving that belief system that drove that old version of self to build the realm and reality that, again, we're no longer attached to, that we're no longer resonating with, that we no longer want to experience. And so this is a positive interaction. It's not giving us a harsh reality check, but what it is doing is giving us a grounded approach to organizing our thoughts, our feelings, and realizing, again, where it is that we got to come up with a plan and a strategy, where there has to be a logical, practical, calculated plan put into place in order for us to start deconstructing that old world and creating the space for us to build something new. Now, the moon is then going to go ahead and make an uncomfortable interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, who, of course, is in Taurus energy. So this is earth on earth action, but not in a favorable way, which means that there's going to be a heaviness and a weight that kind of kicks in. Now, typically speaking, if this was a favorable aspect, Uranus would be bringing us clarity, would be bringing us a jolt of energy to shift us out of that paralyzation state and put us in a state of taking action and making moves. However, this is not the greatest interaction. What this is going to do is kind of cluster F our headspace. We gain all this clarity. We had all these aha moments. We were getting organized in our thoughts and in our emotions. And then now suddenly we are focused on anxieties, creating worries, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, the what ifs, the maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. Because this is creating more of a confusion than a clarity, we are definitely going to start doubling down on not doing anything in our physical realms, kind of, again, embracing that state of paralysis until we can come up with a plan and a strategy that not only makes logical, practical sense, but that feels good, that is in alignment with our soul and our spirit. We then have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, in this Pisces energy, trining, beautiful interaction with Mars. Mars being the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire, even our anger. Still retrograde at this point. This is the last interaction that Mars will be making with any of the planets before he goes direct. And so he's still retrograde. He's in Cancer energy. So this trine means that we are dealing with like elements. This is water on water action. Water is beautiful because, of course, it helps to cleanse us and purify us from the mood, from the attitude that, of course, was not serving us well. It also cleanses and purifies us from the junk, from the gunk that we were sitting in. And then it refreshes and renews our soul and our spirit. So this is going to be high energy, emotionally and intuitively speaking. Mars, again, sitting on the bench just hours away from going direct after 2 months of having to sit on the bench and being a non-participant in the external world. We have ants in our pants. We have energy building. We have all of these energies swirling, and it's going to be very hard to manage. Mars's whole point is energy management. There is going to be a strong passion, a strong desire that kicks in that wants us to take action upon our ideas. Mercury in Pisces, again, intuition and intellect really stirring to show us new ideas, what we want to do, what we want to pursue, what we want to learn, what we want to teach, what we want to create, what we want to bring to life, what we want to talk about. There's a lot going on. And so really, there's a lot of energy building here that puts us in a hyper-focused state, that puts us in a hypersensitive state. There's a lot of excitement that could be manifesting as, manic energy if you're not careful. There's a lot of pressure in our conversation because, again, there's this jitteriness. We're just ready to kind of bust at the seams, so to speak. And so, we could feel a lot more attached to passions, desires, new interests, if you will. And not that that's a bad thing, but it could be an over-exaggerated state of emotion. Meaning there's so much energy building within us that we're coming off a little bit more enthusiastic about things than we actually are. And that's okay. That energy is going to level out as Mars kind of gets going here. But at the end of the day, this is a beautiful energy, high inspiration, high motivation, high intuition on what we're passionate about and what we now have a desire to pursue. So just as things are kind of getting good there, the sun in Pisces energy is then going to semi-square Chiron, the wounded healer in that Aries energy. So of course, anytime that we are gaining intuitive insight, anytime that we're feeling good, anytime that we're bossing up, even when we are building an energy that essentially is going to help us eventually make moves and take action, even though we're not quite there as of yet, just when we reach that new vibration frequency, there's always this aspect that comes in that creates the ego programming to override the happiness, the joy, the excitement, the passion, the desire that we just experienced. And this would be one of those cases. The sun, of course, in Pisces energy, not getting along with Chiron, of course, is going to highlight the wounds, highlight the fears, highlight the doubts, highlight the insecurities, highlight where it is that we do not feel well equipped, well prepared to do all the things that we know that we have to do in order to, again, close the door on the old world and, again, prepare the stage for this new world that we want to be creating. So because the Pisces energy is about shadow work, and because Chiron, again, is focusing in on the wounds, we should have a realization here of the shadow parts of self that essentially are alive and well in our unconscious realm that is now coming into our consciousness, into our awareness, so that we can work on healing said parts of self so that we don't end up self-sabotaging. Does it feel good? No. Is it supposed to? Absolutely not. Does it give us a valuable lesson on where our time, energy, and attention is needed to heal parts of self? Absolutely. And that is the name of the game. But we do have the moon in the Capricorn energy getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Venus in Aries energy at the exact same time. So of course, this isn't going to feel good because our heart space is being activated in a major way. Again, if you haven't listened to this week's Ascension forecast, I'm going to recommend that you take a listen so that you understand where the energies are manifesting, how they're manifesting in the physical body, and the Ascension symptoms that we can expect from some of these energies shifting. This would be a dramatic heart activation. The square shows us where it is that we're going through growing pains. The moon in this Capricorn energy taking a very, let's call it, well-grounded approach to our thoughts, to our ideas, to our feelings, to what needs to be done, to what needs to kind of be addressed before we can move on and move forward. The Capricorn energy is focused on the long term. Venus, on the other hand, again, she's kind of getting a little bit jittery because she's approaching her retrograde period. She's in Aries energy, which is all about the future and a lot of impulse, meaning there's a lot of shifting, pivoting going on in our heart space. New wants, new needs, new desires, and our want, need, and desire to burn the whole world down that we built and create that we no longer want to experience is very strong. But of course, emotionally speaking, the Capricorn energy is like, no, you got to pump your brakes. You got to stand still. And you really have to reevaluate where it is that if you act on impulse, you're going to create more of a mess than there actually needs to be. So, of course, there is this want, need, and desire to break free of the old world. There is this want, need, and desire to start something new. Are we going to act upon it? I would really advise against it. We are in Pisces season. This is a time of endings and closures. We're in the year of 9. This is a time of endings and closures. We are at the end of the zodiac wheel. This is time of ending and closures in preparation for the beginnings that we definitely want to initiate, but the time is not now. To make things even more amplified, the moon in this Capricorn energy is going to make a very uncomfortable interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in Gemini energy. So first of all, Capricorn and Gemini energy are literally the hardest energies to work well together. Reason being, again, we have an earth sign, Capricorn, air sign, Gemini, but even more than that, that air sign is split down the middle, torn between what we want to do and what we need to do, what we've already done and what we could possibly do. The Jupiter energy is magnifying the options and opportunities for growth and expansion, because that's what Jupiter and Gemini is here to do, expansion on thoughts, on ideas, on what we've learned, on integrating what we've learned. But again, because this is a not so great interaction, we're confused as all F. We're actually creating more problems in our headspace than there needs to be. We're actually creating more worry and anxiety than there needs to be. And because Jupiter kind of magnifies whatever's going on, there's an over-exaggerated, repetitious, not so nice narrative going on in our headspace, preventing us from basically seeing the forest past the trees, from being optimistic about our future, for being confident enough to feel like we have what it takes to do all of the things. And of course, that doesn't feel good, but we have a lot to learn about the shadow aspect that is, again, creeping up within us and attempting to self-sabotage us. And if you're doing the work and you're aware of these not so nice thoughts and feelings that creep up within you with some of these negative aspects, they really are a valuable lesson and tool to teach us where it is that we have some growing, some healing to do. 8:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mars will be going direct at 17 degrees in Cancer energy. So first of all, please take a listen to the astro forecast that I put out there for your listening pleasure for this particular energy shift. If you have your February energy guide available to you, I'm going to recommend that you flip to this particular chapter, you capture what is going on for you. And again, if you've been doing the work in the previous month's energy guides, really get them out, reference what was going on at those pivotal points that we talked about Mars, and really piecing together how your Mars retrograde story is actually coming alive, what it has created within you, what kind of motivations, inspirations you have now that you didn't have just a couple of months ago. So again, there's a lot of jitteriness in the air. There's a lot of restlessness in the air. The ants in our pants are definitely winning at this particular juncture, but Mars will be direct nonetheless. Now, about, half hour, 45 minutes later, we're going to have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Pisces energy, semi-squaring with Pluto, the great transformer, in this Aquarius energy. So basically what we're getting here is a realization of some negative ass narratives where some fears, doubts, and insecurities are creeping up in our headspace. Maybe there are little bits of details, hidden information, aha moments that are creeping up that again probably are giving us a little bit of a reality check that we really don't want, need, or desire, but we absolutely need or desire in order for our growth. And so, yeah, things may get dark in our headspace. Things may get a little bit pessimistic, a little bit negative, if you will. Not only emotionally speaking is the moon in Capricorn kind of triggering those particular activations, but Mercury being in Pisces energy, again, Pisces energy divided by the two fish, one light fish, one dark fish, one is building, one is going right behind it, deconstructing what the first one is built. So this is a prime time opportunity for us to get a grip on the shadow parts of self, on where it is that we're feeling powerless, on where it is that we're having power struggles, either going on between our heart and our head. Maybe it's us versus someone else in our external realm. Either way, our head is kind of taking a little bit of a spiral, a little bit of a trip down the darker paths of memory lane with this particular aspect, but it sets us up for some beautiful realizations. Now, the last thing that we have going on here today that we're going to kind of be feeding off of this particular energy shift is the moon in Capricorn energy making a beautiful interaction with that north node in Pisces. So again, we have Capricorn and Pisces energy working very well together. What I love about this is, first of all, we anchor ourselves back into reality with this moon and Capricorn energy, especially bringing us out of the headspace, back into the physical body, if you will. And because this is a positive interaction, we're thinking about our ability to fix, heal, and repair, to absolutely override that negative narrative, to do what we need to do with the realizations that we just had that likely came out of not so nice thoughts and feelings, where we can boss up, take control back over our headspace, over our heart space, and actually align with the vision, the goal, the dream that we were very excited to be experiencing, realizing earlier in the day. We can bring that energy back at the end of the day, flip the script in the most positive of ways, and get very serious on where it is that, again, we have little tiny actions available to us in this present moment that we could be adjusting or improving that essentially will align us with the futuristic goal, vision, and dream that, again, we are very, very much anticipating bringing to life.